Like many in our nation and around the world, Jay Fiedler experienced personal loss in the events of last week. And like many, he believes that while the grieving continues, life goes on. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms, and we take a step in that direction today with the resumption of NFL play, the Oakland Raiders and the Miami Dolphins.
Greg, we do that. I just want to say to all the fans out there watching football today, I hope you're able to sit back, relax, enjoy the game. We have a terrific game here with two of the best teams in the AFC, so I hope you enjoy it.
Two playoff teams of a year ago, and they are even better this year. Roaming the sidelines for us this afternoon, Armin Katayan. Let's go down to him.
Thanks, Greg. Not surprisingly, September in South Florida, the X factor today is the weather. Upwards of 90 degrees and 70% humidity. The Dolphins will be wearing their white jerseys today, a rare occurrence, all white. The Raiders in their black jerseys, what they would normally wear at home. The Dolphins hoping to sap some strength from the Raiders in the fourth quarter, and it's worked in the past. In September, the Dolphins have now won 14 straight games. They're 18-1, dating back to 1990. Greg, Phil, back up to you.
All right, Armin, thank you very much. There is Dave Wannstedt, and like every other coach in the National Football League, talked to us this weekend about, well, trying to get his team back on track and trying back on focus. And boy, John Gruden, the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, arrived and told us exactly the same thing yesterday, Phil.
Tough situation for the coaches, and I think they knew what they were dealing with, Greg. And I got to tell you, sitting here watching the pregame activities, all the singing, the fans joining in so much, it was a very stirring moment.
John Gruden was very, very emotional during the pregame ceremonies. Yep, pictures are worth more than 1,000 words. The Raiders have won the toss, and they will receive. Olindo Mare will kick it away. Deep is number 88, David Dunn, who had an outstanding day in kickoff returns in the Raiders' victory at Kansas City in Week 1, averaging 32.5 yards a return. And we're underway. This one will not be returned, and the Raiders will start first down from their own 20-yard line. There is quarterback Rich Gannon. Gannon with 2 touchdown passes in the opening day win for the Raiders. You see his numbers on the year. And Gannon, easily one of the most versatile quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he operates a very versatile and diversified offense.
Easily one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And listen to the crowd. It is as pumped up as I've ever heard it down here at Colt Player Stadium.
The give is to Wheatley, and Wheatley doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11.
Let's take a look at the Raiders' offensive line. It's big and it's good, led by the center, number 63, Barrett Robbins.
With Gannon in the backfield, Tyrone Wheatley and fullback John Ritchie. Tim Brown joined by the veteran Jerry Rice this season. Roland Williams is the tight end. Bill Callahan, offensive coordinator for the Oakland Raiders, looking on 2nd and 11. Garner and Randy Jordan are on the field now on 2nd down. The pitch for Garner goes nowhere. Zach Thomas in the middle of that stop. A look at the Miami defense. Jermaine Haley in for the injured Tim Bowens at defensive tackle.
The linebackers for Miami, Zach Thomas, he's the guy in the middle, number 54.
Terrific corners in this game today. 2 of them, Surtain and Madison. Brock Marion and Brian Walker are the safeties. Ritchie and Randy Jordan are in the backfield now on 3rd and long. Pass over the middle, incomplete, through the hands of Jerry Rice.
A nice chance for the Raiders to get a big play early in the game. The Dolphins come with extra defenders on the blitz. Jerry Rice over the middle, wide open. Rich Gannon a little high, and Jerry Rice not able to make that catch.
Brian Walker came on a late blitz on that 3rd down play. Rice was open, couldn't hang on. Shane Leckler to kick it away. High. Jeff Ogden at his 35. and steps out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. 4-yard return, and here comes Jay Fiedler, healthy this year, and had an outstanding game in Week 1 in Miami's 31-23 win at Tennessee.
Greg, you said the appropriate word. He is healthy, gives him a better chance to have success on the field. His second year in the system, the coaches, Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, his second year here, and they really played extremely well last week in Tennessee. And Miami, they like to open up that bag of tricks, not trick plays, but some of their special plays for the game, usually on the first drive.
On the end around, here comes James McKnight. McKnight across the 40 and dragged down at about the 42-yard line by Eric Allen. And let's check the offensive line.
The Dolphins offensive line, left tackle Spencer Folau making his first start for the Dolphins today.
In the backfield with Fiedler, Lamar Smith, Rob Conrad, Gadsden and McKnight the wide receivers. Hunter Goodwin is the tight end. We will see a lot of the rookie Chris Chambers out of Wisconsin as well. There's Chan Gailey, offensive coordinator.
There he is. He likes the reverse. Greg starts out with it. What that does, even though it only got a couple yards, it stops pursuit from the backside, so it gives your running game a better chance of having success.
Lamar Smith on 2nd and 7. Midfield. Room to run. Oh, and just tripped up as he got to about the 48-yard line. Anthony Dorsett saved a huge gain. Take a look at the defensive alignment for the Raiders. Josh Taves starts at defensive tackle for the suspended Darrell Russell.
The linebackers are solid. Greg Beaker at the middle linebacker, Pro Bowl player.
We mentioned terrific corners. How about Eric Allen and Charles Woodson? Dorsett and Marquez Pope are the safeties for the Raiders. Defensive coordinator Chuck Bresnahan looks on. Here's Fiedler on the move, looking, throws, sideline, incomplete. Intended for James McKnight, and Charles Woodson was right there to break it up.
Charles Woodson, one of the corners in the National Football League that has the rare ability to be big, to be physical, and the speed to run with receivers. A lot of contact there, but not enough to throw the flag on, and excellent coverage.
Woodson, in just his 4th season with 10 career interceptions, had a pick last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and 10. Fiedler on the move again. Looking, and slides down at about the 45-yard line. And sliding down is something that Jay Fiedler is going to have to get used to, considering what happened to him 2 weeks ago.
Well, the shot he took 2 weeks ago. But, Greg, just to talk about this game, a lot of people think, well, the Raiders will dominate. They did last year in the playoff game out in Oakland. But remember, the Dolphins played 6 days before that, a very physical game against the Indianapolis Colts. Lamar Smith was beat up, couldn't hardly even get to the game. Jay Fiedler, torn rotator cuff in his left shoulder. This is a healthy Dolphins team playing at home, and they want a little revenge.
J.J. Johnson in as a 5th wide receiver. Fiedler throws down the sideline. It is incomplete. Oronde Gadsden, the intended receiver.
You know, nice job by the Oakland Raiders defense. They stopped the long run by Lamar Smith, a terrific tackle. And then, like I said, you see Miami came out, gave him a little bit of everything. A reverse, couple play action passes, 5 wide receivers, and the Raiders adjusted to all those new plays.
Matt Turk will kick it away. David Dunn stands at his own 10-yard line. Turk tries to hang it up. It bounces at the 8 and into the end zone. And a nice block thrown down there by the Raiders allowed the ball to get into the end zone. That was the rookie, Derek Gibson. We'll be back. To fight back by supporting the disaster relief effort and helping the families of the victims. Give to the September 11th Fund. Call 1-800-710-8002. On first down, Gannon throws complete to Tim Brown across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. A pickup of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. And that's the first play that the Raiders have run this afternoon that's gained any yardage.
You know, Greg, getting ready for this game, I think as we watched the game that both teams played before, we were kind of like in awe of the Raiders offense. How they get 5 wide receivers out, they move them all across each other around the field, and it's got to be so difficult for a defense to cover them.
Here's Charlie Garner dancing across the 30 to about the 32, and Zach Thomas making the stop. Talking about some key acquisitions on offense for the Raiders. One of them we mentioned, Jerry Rice, and Charlie Garner, who enjoyed a terrific season a year ago in San Francisco.
Well, 3 terrific acquisitions by the Raiders in the offseason. Look at all 3 very productive players. They know how to play in a John Gruden type of team. And Charlie Garner, maybe the unsung hero of these 3. Good runner, excellent pass receiver.
Gannon slides down at about the 33-yard line. Jason Taylor and Twan Russell combining will get credit for the stop.
The thing with this Miami defense, now last year in the playoff game, they told us before it, we're going to keep Rich Gannon in the pocket and all this stuff, and everybody says that. Nobody can do it, but that time, good reaction by the Dolphins. But the big key for their defense today is not playing all man-to-man. They're going to drop back in some zones and just look at the quarterback and try to look at receivers and let them come to them instead of chasing.
Gannon to throw over the middle. That's complete. Across the 40 to the 41 is Tim Brown, and a marker is down. Our referee today is Johnny Greer. Incidentally, something we haven't mentioned, the officials, the regular officials back in action.
Yes, it is good to see him back. Hope they didn't gain too much weight during their inactivity. Yeah, they're going to move it back, take the penalty, automatic first
Holding,
down.
23, defense. That's the first down.
Penalty is on Patrick Surtain on the corner.
Now see, when you play the Oakland Raiders as a corner, look to the top of your screen. There's Patrick Surtain. The Raiders do so much of this, coming across short, and it's different for corners, guys like Patrick Surtain. They're used to wide receivers going up the field, working to the outside, and when you have to chase them shallow across the field, has to be the hardest thing for a defensive back to do.
That's to catch for Tim Brown in 126 straight games. Gannon complete to Garner. Garner 45 midfield into Miami territory and out of bounds.
Just to give you a look at how difficult it is to defense this Oakland Raiders offense, the weapons, how good they are. You're going to see 2 receivers come out here. And look, who's going to catch the ball? Rich Gannon looks out there. Now the back comes out, the 3rd guy. The defense is looking deep. They're looking shallow. Rich Gannon throws that short pass, and here's what happens. Catch a short pass, make something happen, pick up a first down.
Dave Wanstead puts a lot of emphasis not only on his first 4 DBs, but on the 2 that come in certain situations. Tyrone Wheatley, room to run up the middle, inside the 40, loose football. And the first indication is that the Raiders have possession. Looked like Lincoln Kennedy was the last one up.
Brock Mary, number 31. He comes from his safety position. Nice hit. And then wraps his, that's a terrific job of making good solid contact and reaching in and ripping the football out.
So it's a 9-yard pickup, and it'll be 2nd and 1. We are 7.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter of a scoreless game. Zach Crockett is now into the game in the backfield. And Crockett with the handoff has the first down inside the 30, inside the 35 to about the 31-yard line before Zach Thomas makes the tackle.
Well, some of the things that we saw last week when the Raiders played Kansas City, I'm seeing already here. A lot of movement, shifting, and Greg, what do? You got Charlie Garner, Tyrone Wheatley, 2 different style runners in the backfield. You got to worry about Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Roland Williams at tight end. Terrific game last week. A quarterback that scrambles, a quarterback that finds the open receiver. What I'm trying to tell you, this is one of the best offenses in the National Football League.
Here's the give to Wheatley. Wheatley inside the 30 to the 28.
And to carry that one step further, what makes it different from a lot of high-profile offenses is that the Raiders down deep, and John Gruden, he wants to ram it down your throat. Once you get past some of the razzle-dazzle and all the great names, He'd prefer to just line up and just smack it in your mouth.
Dave Wannstedt told us the other day that Rich Gannon, he feels, does the best job of filling an old cliche, which is taking whatever the defense gives you.
It is the truth. He is the ultimate in it.
Wheatley in motion. Gannon pumps all kinds of time, throws to the far side, and that is complete to Wheatley. And Wheatley is down at about just inside the 25-yard line.
You know, that play illustrates now the Miami Dolphin defense bracing themselves for a run. Rich Gannon drops back to corners. The defense covers everybody, but nobody's there to rush the passer. Finally throws it to Tyrone Wheatley.
Interesting situation here now for Gannon and the Raiders. 3rd and 3.
Well, the Dolphins trying to keep Gannon in the pocket. I don't think they've done it this time. Want to get the really big defensive lineman inside just to push straight back at him because he takes really short drops in these situations.
Gannon, all kinds of time again. Still looking, throws over the middle, complete at the 10, and now it falls out. It's ruled incomplete. Charlie Garner had it and lost it when he was hit. And who hit him? Zach Thomas.
That is a terrific play by a lot of people. Protection. Look at it. Good coverage down the field. I'm going to run. No, I'm not. Let me get set. Rip it underhanded. Perfect throw. Oh, and he just misses it.
So on comes Sebastian Janikowski to attempt a 42-yard field goal. He was 4 for 4 in week 1 against the Chiefs. It is long enough. And it's good. The Raiders are on the board first. 5:19 to play in the first. It's Oakland 3 and Miami nothing.
On CBS is sponsored by the HP PhotoSmart digital camera. How will you use it? Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And by Chrysler. Drive equals love.
Pretty good balance on that last scoring drive by the Oakland Raiders, resulting in Janikowski's 42-yard field goal and a 3-0 Oakland lead. Janikowski now tees it up to kick it away to the Dolphins. Rob Conrad and Brock Marion are deep. Low kick bouncing and scooped up at the 15 by Marion. Marion still on his feet. Penalty marker flies. And he is knocked out of bounds at about the 27 to 28-yard line. And it's going to be against the Miami Dolphins and back them up.
Well, players got to make the adjustment. Last week, the officials were a little lenient at some of the penalties.
Holding number 89 of the receiving team during the return.
This week, when they see one, they're going to throw the flag.
Well, John Gruden told us these Dolphins were impressive at Tennessee on a cool night. You bet he's happy to be on the board first today. The Raiders, as his club looking to go 2-0 on the road. Lamar Smith, right side, 20, 23, 24-yard line. Woodson and Grady Jackson on the stop, and let's check in with Armin downstairs. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. One of the big questions associated with this game would how would the players respond physically? Would they have some emotional letdown? Would they be unfocused? Or would they be able to flip the switch and play with the same kind of anger and violence sometimes associated with a normal football game? Well, in the first 10 minutes, I can tell you, they are playing now with more passion than I've seen in any other game, really, except the playoff game in the last 4 years, spurned on by this crowd, I think, Greg. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin. Yeah, I think even the players doubted, didn't know really how they would come out today. Side, left side, and on the move, Smith. And Smith with a terrific game before he's brought down by Anthony Dorsett. 18 yards and a first down.
Well, Greg, we talked about Lamar Smith. I'm sure he wants a little revenge against this Raiders defense. But this is just good blocking up inside. Tight end Hunter Goodwin seals everybody inside. Good lead block by Robert Conrad and Lamar Smith. Look at the Mark Dixon, good block too. And good running in the open field by Lamar Smith.
Smith again. 45, close to midfield. Tony Bryant with the stop, and we get our first check of what's happening elsewhere with Jim Nantz in New York. Jim.
All right, thank you, Greg. Doug Flutie's first touchdown pass as a Charger after an Anthony Wright fumble. And Freddie Jones, the target, 7-0 San Diego. First 5 minutes. Back to Greg and Phil.
All right, thank you, Jim. Meanwhile, on the sideline, Rob Conrad, who appears to have an ankle tended to over there. We'll get an update as soon as we can. Meanwhile, 2nd and 2 at the 49-yard line. Smith and Dion Dyer are in the backfield. Lamar Smith again, and won't get back to the line of scrimmage. Number 23, Marquez Pope.
One of the things that happens in the National Football League, if it's second and short yardage, the defenses, that time the Raiders did it, they gamble a little. They go, well, we know they're going to run it, so they put a lot of people up there and come after you, and it's almost impossible to block the numbers to get an open lane for the running back, and then you get this 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 because of that.
Fiedler needs the 49-yard line of the Oakland Raiders for a first down. Quick pass incomplete, intended for J.J. Johnson, and on comes the punting unit. Fiedler 0 for 3 in the passing department today.
Yeah, that was another little play that the Miami Dolphins had drawn up to kind of fool the Raider defense. But again, the Raider defense making good adjustments in the passing game. Not doing real well against the run so far, though.
That's Matt Turk, and that's David Dunn. Dunn stands at his own 10-yard line. On the fair catch. And Dunn pulls it in at about the 12.5-yard line. 40-yard punt and no return. And Jay Fiedler, what kind of day is it? Well, he's had better so far. 3-0 Raiders. We welcome you back to Pro Player Stadium. The yards are even. Miami has all of theirs on the ground and 0 through the air. Ritchie and Garner in the backfield as Gannon begins from his own 13-yard line. On the roll, throws, complete to Garner, and Garner out of bounds, close to the 20-yard line.
Well, that play, if you watched it, looked pretty simple at home, but from the quarterback position, it wasn't that simple. Watch Rich Gannon. He makes the fake. John Ritchie. There's Charlie Garner. Watch. Drop it sidearm and just sling it.
Sling it is a good way to put it.
It really is, and he throws from so many angles, and he's so accurate throwing sidearm, or actually sometimes he almost throws it underhanded. Very accurate that way.
The give is to Wheatley, and Wheatley out to about the 23-yard line, and once again we go to Jim Nantz in New York. What's up, Jim?
Thank you, Greg. A couple of weeks ago you saw this guy in the end zone a couple of times. Edgerrin James from the University of Miami. Right off tackle, 1-yard touchdown run. 7-0 here, 7-7 I say. Buffalo, Indianapolis first quarter. Bills ran back a Manning pass for a touchdown, Greg.
All right, thank you, Jim. We're going to have a measurement for a first down here. We've seen a lot of rotation, as you mentioned, Phil. Tyrone Wheatley, Charlie Garner, Randy Jordan was in there. Incidentally, Rob Conrad, the fullback for Miami Dolphins, a left ankle sprain, we were told, and his return is questionable. But on this warm day, we can expect to see a lot of rotation.
Yes, we can, and really, too, for the Raiders, they want to pace their two older wide receivers, Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. They basically played almost every snap last week on offense. I've seen them going in and out a couple times already today, just making sure when the second half comes around, they still have plenty of gas to be players who can still make plays.
3rd and inches. Wheatley, the lone back behind Gannon. And Gannon's going to keep it for the first down. Gannon has 4 completions today, 3 of them to running backs. And in the opener, well, he found running backs all over the field.
He found everybody. Sometimes against Kansas City, I don't think he could determine who to throw it to because there were about 2 or 3 guys open on almost every single pass play. When you watch the Raiders, as you sit at home and watch it, Tim Brown is usually the receiver who does all the motions going across the formations.
Brown is in the slot and Rice is on the outside. The pass comes this way to Garner, and Garner makes a move and breaks free down the sideline. and another first down.
Now, most of the time in the National Football League, when a team splits out the running back, it's strictly as a decoy or to get their wide receiver inside to get on a linebacker to get yards that way. Charlie Garner, we said earlier, terrific pass receiver. Not only gets open, see he has enough shaking to go by the. There he is outside, lined up as a wide receiver.
And as you say, a lot of times that's a decoy. And on the other side of the field, who do you have? Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. From the 46-yard line, the pitch for Wheatley. Wheatley behind blocking to midfield and to the 49. Zach Thomas, Derek Rogers making the stop after a 5-yard gain.
Some of this runs, Greg, have gone well.
3-0 Oakland Raiders in the lead. We've come to the end of the first quarter, and we'll come back to Pro Player Stadium for the start of the second right after this. We remind you to log on to NFL.com for real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and live play-by-play only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL. Start of the second quarter. The Raiders from the Miami 49-yard line. Play fake. And Gannon pitches forward. It's incomplete. It's incomplete. Ball is on the ground. But Derek Rogers would like to have had everyone think that he had an interception. And a penalty marker is down. Gannon is probably voicing the argument that there was a receiver in the vicinity.
There's no doubt there was. So Johnny Greer's looking for help. He's going to pick it up, I think.
Here's Johnny Greer.
Intentional grounding, number 12 on the offense. That's also a loss of down. Third down.
Let's take a look at it now. Rich Gannon, he's not outside the tight end box, we know. But watch Tyrone Wheatley. Here he is. He's flipping it over to him. Tyrone Wheatley does not turn. Yes, Rich Gannon was trying to avoid a sack, no question. In fact, I saw him do the exact same play last week against Kansas City. Completed the pass on a shovel pass once he was getting sacked.
3rd and 15. Rice in motion. Gannon steps up. All kinds of time. Throws over the middle, incomplete, and here's a marker.
Holding against Jerry Rice. Terry Cousin, number 21's covering him. First down.
Holding, 21, defense. First down.
Tim Brown told us he got in touch with Jerry Rice as soon after the rumors began to float that he might become an Oakland Raider, and he told him, I think you'd look very good in an Oakland Raiders jersey.
And you know what? And Rich Gannon told us the same thing. He saw Jerry Rice during the offseason, heard the rumors. He goes, man, you're going to look good in silver and black. And we're here watching warm-ups, and Greg, you turn to me and says, boy, they're right. He does look pretty cool in silver and black. And, hey, if you have any doubts that Jerry Rice has still got something left, I think he's going to erase those doubts here the next couple of weeks because he looked very good at week 1.
Charlie Garner dips back inside and spins up close to midfield. Zach Thomas with yet another stop after a gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
You know, it's interesting just watching Jerry Rice that last time. He was running the route way down the field, and he got pass interference or holding against Terry Cousins. Well, Terry Cousin, we'll watch it. Yeah, I'd say that was the running play that just happened. But he says what's got him so excited now, he's getting to run routes that he didn't get to run with the San Francisco 49ers the last 3 or 4 years.
With 5 receivers out in the pad, a little sidearm pass is complete to Garner. And Garner inside the 35, close to the 30-yard line. It's another Raider first down.
Now that's Sam Madison covering him, number 29. One of the best cover corners in the National Football League. There we go, Rich. Sidearm, and Charlie Garner is terrific at running around the field and making catches. That's 16 catches by Raider running backs so far in a little over 5 quarters. But Greg, it's a little misleading. A lot of times those receptions are outside just like a wide receiver.
Randy Jordan flanked as a wide receiver to the near side of the field. Gannon looks his way. The ball is tipped. It is incomplete, intended for Wheatley. And it'll be second down.
Boy, as you watch this game so far, Miami just trying to hang on here. You know, if it wasn't for a couple drop passes by the Raiders, they could be down 2 scores already, and the Raiders they give you a lot. And you hear a lot of things when you sit at home about what NFL teams do. The Raiders have 150 pass plays in just for this game.
They give to Wheatley up the middle. Wheatley bouncing off tackles inside the 25 to about the 22 or 23 yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2.
And the thing is, Greg, and we know, and we watch it, and you covering the Raiders the last couple years under John Gruden, they use as many of those plays as they can. And last week they're playing Kansas City. We think we've seen it all. They got to get the drive that's going to win the game. They come out with a shovel pass. I mean, here's the most important drive of the game, and they try the shovel pass for the first time of the day. So
Rich Gannon says we only get 70, 80 snaps a game at most if you're lucky. Garner flanked as a wide receiver to the top of your screen. He looks that way and throws complete inside the 20. That's a first down.
That's Brian Walker covering Charlie Garner up top, and this is turning out to be a very tough matchup for the Miami Dolphins.
Charlie Garner is having himself a terrific day catching the football. 5 of them for 69 yards.
And he looks good doing it too.
Raiders went to the red zone 5 times in week 1, scored only 1 touchdown. The give is to Wheatley. Wheatley inside the 15 to the 11. A gain of 6 will make it 2nd and 4, and Charlie Garner getting a little well-deserved treatment on the sideline.
Well, he's done a lot of work so far. Let's just look at some of the plays. Lined up as a wide receiver, started all the way to the left, came all the way across the field. Wide receiver, nice catch.
It's pretty clear that when he lines up on the outside, he is more than just window dressing. Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. On 2nd and 4, shovel pass. And this one gets inside the 10 to about the 9.5 yard line. Wheatley with the reception.
Let me just say this too about the Raider offense. I asked John Gruden a lot of questions yesterday because they do so many formations. They can do that because they got what? Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, they've been in the league forever. Rich Gannon, he's 35 years old. And also they do all this because they got veteran players, and it helps keep their attention by doing so many different plays every week.
Ernest Grant, Damian Gregory in the middle of the defensive line for Miami on 3rd and 4. Gannon throws complete, and not much yardage there to Roland Williams, the tight end.
It's close, and John Gruden almost always, I've never seen him really gamble in these situations. 4th and less than a yard, he just kicks the field goal. Not real happy about it, but
he'll do it. Janikowski onto the field. Hit a 42-yarder in the first quarter.
Hit the game winner last week against Kansas City.
And from 26 yards out, the kick is good. 9 minutes, 59 seconds to play. Jerry Rice and the Oakland Raiders on top of Miami by 6. Janikowski to kick. And on the near side of the field, it's Brock Marion. Marion won't make it back to the 20. Pulled down by Eric Barton at about the 17-yard line. And we take a timeout. We'll be right back. Armin Katayan back at Pro Player Stadium. Jay Fiedler's numbers, nothing to write home about so far, and we were talking about it during the break. Miami has to get him into this football game.
Well, you got to get your quarterback in. Second quarter, 9:48 to go.
Looks to this side, goes the other way and overthrows a wide open receiver down the middle. James McKnight had all kinds of room to run.
Well, terrific job by Jay Fiedler finding the open guy. They were trying to get him involved, throw a short pass to Rondé Gadsden. It's covered. He looks down the field. And the one thing that Jay Fiedler, I think, has a problem with, every once in a while, he's what I call kind of a wristy thrower. The ball goes high on him, and it did that time.
On 2nd and 10, extra DB on the field for the Raiders. The handoff is to Smith. Smith dodges a tackler and across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Greg Beaker, Charles Woodson with the stop, and it'll be 3rd and 5.
Now, you know, this Miami Dolphins offense, they need to pick up a first down or two just to let the defense get a chance to settle down on the sideline, because they are scrambling, trying to keep the Raiders out of the end zone, and also to take away that momentum from the Raiders offense. They are in a groove, and they can't wait to get back out there. So pick up some first downs and get them out of it.
That Miami defense has spent a lot of time on the field so far today. Fiedler throws this side, and there is his first completion out to the 30-yard line to Rondé Gadsden. The whistle has blown, and it's a first down.
Jay Fiedler now hits his first pass he's completed, Greg, but it's not like guys have been wide open on some of them either, and he is under some pressure. And Reagan Upshaw, I think it is, 91, hits him in the back. That's a pretty good shot to get the completion.
Well, as we were talking about Fiedler and how he was without a completion, you were saying, you know, and a quarterback knows that. He's out there and he realizes he's not in the game yet.
He's on the sideline looking up going, there's under 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and I have not completed a pass. You're absolutely aware of it.
Fiedler throws, and there's his second completion to Gadsden, the third, or Lamar Smith, rather. And Smith, shaking tacklers, is out close to a first down.
Well, they say, listen, the Raiders, good idea. Let's put our running back out to the sideline. And what that does, when you think about it, you're taking a running back, you're putting him out in space against a defender who is not used to defending out in space. You know, safeties and linebackers are used to being in near the line of scrimmage. They feel comfortable there. You put them out near the sideline, all of a sudden it looks different. They're a little scared, and they play very conservative.
It'll be 3rd and inches. Dave Wanstead telling us that one of their main concerns during the offseason was getting Jay Fiedler some help on the outside. Wanted more speed, wanted some playmakers, and certainly the Raiders have recognized that just from the opening week. They say the Miami Dolphins are a more vertical team this year.
Yeah, they can throw it down the field. James McKnight came from the Dallas Cowboys. Chan Gailey, who used to coach down there, knew him well. They drafted Chris Chambers in the 2nd round from the University of Wisconsin. Fast wide receiver, very productive, going to be a good player, and it might take a while to really incorporate him into the offense, but the possibilities of helping the quarterback have definitely improved for the Miami Dolphins.
Fiedler keeps it and has the first down. So now a couple of first downs for the Miami Dolphins.
Now the other thing, Greg, is when we came down here, and you know how it is in the offseason, we think of a lot of things, and people talk, and the big discussion down here in Miami is Jay Fiedler going to be the quarterback. And you asked Chan Gailey a question. What'd you say? You said, were you convinced? And Chan Gailey looked at us and says, I am absolutely 100% convinced Jay Fiedler can lead us and help us win the Super Bowl this year.
Fiedler to throw. Going to throw down the sideline, and throwing behind his intended receiver, Dedrick Ward, the former New York Jet. Ward had surgery on his left foot on the 2nd of August. Hasn't been able to practice much, but he's in today as the 3rd and 4th, sometimes 4th receiver.
And he'll help this offense too. You know, goes across the middle very well, has enough speed to go up the sideline, and just gives them one more weapon to throw to.
Well, we talked about that ability to go vertical, and Dedrick Ward helps them there, as does the free agent James McKnight and the rookie out of Wisconsin, Chris Chambers. 2nd and 10. Fiedler gives to Smith, and Smith across the 45 to the 47. Trace Armstrong, Grady Jackson making the stop.
You know, Lamar Smith, going back to that playoff game last year, what were we told by some of the Dolphins? He literally, on Thursday, they played the game on Saturday, could not even hardly walk to get to the plane to go out there because he carried so many times against the Indianapolis Colts in a playoff game.
Had 206 rushing yards, and then there are his numbers the week after against the Oakland Raiders.
He had no chance of being successful out there after the tough week he had the week before.
On 3rd and 7, Fiedler goes down at the 45-yard line. The first sack allowed by the Miami Dolphins this year, and Trace Armstrong and Johnny Harris combined for it. For Armstrong, that is career number 99.
Trace Armstrong, the ex-Dolphin, just a relentless worker, and he's able to help to get in to get that sack because the Miami receivers are being manhandled down the field by the Raider defensive backs.
David Dunn lets it float over his head, and it'll bounce into the end zone for the touchback. And a penalty marker is down at midfield.
League a man downfield.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Phil. I think we've seen more penalty flags today than we did back in week 1.
Number 56 of the punting team, illegally downfield. The penalty is declined. First down.
5:31 to play here in the first half. Oakland with a 6-0 lead on Miami.
Work.
On first down, Tyrone Wheatley, and Wheatley out across the 20 to about the 21. As the Dolphins fans exhort their defense. Take a look at where the Raiders have started.
And don't be misled, even that first drive, you remember Jerry Rice wide open over the middle. The ball was just a little high. He probably could have caught it and could have been a big gain. So the Raiders, Charlie Garner dropped the pass to keep him from scoring a touchdown, maybe 2. They are getting many opportunities against Miami's defense.
Gannon throws. That is complete to Tim Brown. And Brown out over the 25. Incidentally, the word from the Miami Dolphins, fullback Rob Conrad will not return.
Now that time, Tim Brown started all the way out to the left, came in motion, faked going across, went back out and caught it. And I said, Tim Brown, I said to him yesterday, watch him, comes in. He's always going across the field. Look at Zach waiting for him to come. Zach Thomas, he stops and goes out. That's why he's open. Picks up about 6 or 7 yards.
Zach Thomas told us he knew he'd get a good look at Tim Brown today because he loves to come across the middle. Gannon hit from behind, and he goes down to the 22-yard line. Kenny Mixon with his first sack of the season.
That's what the Dolphins need. Get their offense back on the field, change field position, and make it easier for Jay Fiedler and his offense to make plays. But good coverage. Nobody's open. And Kenny Mixon keeps good coming down the field. That's right. That would not be holding because it happened right at the line of scrimmage.
Leckler's kick. Ogden drifting back from the 15. 30. 34-yard line. 62-yard punt and a 19-yard return. 3:48 to play in the first half. As America resumes an attempt at normal life again. First down for the Miami Dolphins from their own 34. The give is to Lamar Smith, and Lamar with about a yard. We were talking with Jason Taylor. There you see number 88 on the sideline, and take a look at his shoes. Number 89, rather. 99. Anybody want 100? Anybody want 100? USA and New York and DC and Pittsburgh. Jason's tribute. He tributes a lot better than I see. Did you notice that?
I'll pick up for you, Greg.
I noticed you did.
These numbers are very hard to read when you look at Miami. They blend together.
Fiedler pump fakes, throws, has his man down the sideline is Gadsden and out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. It's a first down.
Well, that is a really good play, call, and execution by the Miami Dolphins. The Raider defensive backs have been so aggressive at the line of scrimmage. Well, how do you counter that? Well, you do it with the move. Look at the nice pump fake by Jay Fiedler, and look at the separation. They get away from Torrey James. Nice fake. They fake the short route. Gaston goes deep, wide open.
We have noticed the last couple of series, Torrey James has been spending time in place of Eric Allen out on the corner. He's on the near side again. Fiedler to throw. Throws the pass, and that's complete inside the 30, inside the 25 for a first down. And Oronde Gadsden again, who caught 4 balls for 74 yards and a touchdown in the win over Tennessee. Gadsden beginning to heat up.
Well, Oronde Gadsden just gets better every time I've seen. He gets better every year. He's a big receiver who can go down the field, use his size, and shield the smaller defensive backs away from him.
We come up on the 2-minute warning. The Miami Dolphins threatening here in the closing minutes of the first half. 6-0 Oakland, and we'll be right back.
FL on CBS is sponsored by Original Coors. Nothing beats an original. And by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
2 minutes to play here in the first half, and then the Nextel halftime report. Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry have scores, highlights, and all the NFL news. And the CBS News Update, America Fights Back, all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Fiedler to Smith. Smith inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. A pickup of 5 makes it 2nd and 5. Josh Taves, Marcus Pope.
You know, Greg, when we went to break, I was just wondering. I said, do you think these, the heat, humidity, the black jerseys, everything is wearing on the Raiders just a little bit? And finally, you know, the defense, the Dolphins keeping them out there, giving them a chance to get tired, and you see a lot of players, hands on their hips.
On 2nd and 5, play fake, Fiedler. Rolls, throws toward the end zone. It is incomplete. Anthony Dorsett was there to break it up. James McKnight holding his right knee at the back of the end zone.
Tremendous play action fake by Jay Fiedler. I thought he should have thrown the football short when he had the chance. He took I think a big gamble going into the end zone. Look at number 33. Deion Dyer. Looks like to me if he stops, well, no, he can't throw it because the defender's in front. Fortunate to get away with that pass into the end zone.
Nice play by McKnight to break up the possible interception. 3rd and 5. And we get a whistle. And play clock has run out.
Timeout.
Nope. Before the play clock ran out, timeout was called. So we have a timeout here, and we'll be right back. In which Jay Fiedler was outstanding in week 1, was on 3rd down where he completed 6 of 8. One of them was a 65-yard touchdown pass on the screen to Lamar Smith. He has 5 wide receivers here on 3rd and 5.
I'd look for the quarterback draw.
Fiedler throws this side, has a man complete, and that's enough for a first down. Chris Chambers, the rookie from Wisconsin, 2nd-round draft pick, an 8-yard pickup and a 1st and 10.
Chris Chambers, we talked about him, the rookie. Eric Allen is on the coverage, showing a lot of respect, staying off of him, and Jay Fiedler makes a good decision and finds the open guy. I had a chance to talk to Chris Chambers on Friday, and excited about being in a passing offense, something he was not in at the University of Wisconsin.
On 1st down, Smith tries the right side inside the 10-yard line, and a big gang up before he comes down at about the 7.5-yard line. The timeout is called. Miami uses its 2nd timeout to stop the clock with 29 seconds to play.
Well, Dave Wanstead said to us, you know, on Friday, Greg, I'd like to be in this game, have it really close going to the 4th quarter. Looks like he might get his wish. They've really, I think, been outplayed in a lot of areas here in the first half, and here we are. They're looking at maybe trying to score a touchdown to have the lead when they go in.
We've on and off made reference of the heat factor. Do you really think that that's a legitimate factor, or is that in a particular player's mind?
I think a lot of times people like us have a tendency to overplay these type of situations, but I think it is a big factor. The Raiders are truly one of the big NFL teams. Their offensive line and defensive line, they have a lot of big people, and they don't get to practice or play much in this type of heat and humidity. So you come down here with the black jerseys, playing a good football team, I think it can be a factor, especially late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
2nd and goal. Miami with 1 timeout remaining. Fiedler throws inside the 5, complete, dragged down at the 3-yard line is tight end Jed Weaver, and they use their 3rd and final timeout to stop the clock with 20 seconds to play. Line of scrimmage will be this when we come back. Adding to what you were talking about, Phil, that the Miami Dolphins have completely changed the whole attitude of this game with this particular drive. It's the first time all day that their defense has had a chance to catch their breath.
It all started with the sack of Rich Gannon, kind of changing field position, giving the Dolphins a little freedom, and some good plays by Jay Fiedler and his receiving core. And here they are. It's 3rd and 2. We were thinking, could they run the football? And if they didn't make it, could they still kick a field goal? We decided they can't, so it's got to be a quick pass.
They're out of timeouts. 3rd and goal.
Nobody in the middle.
Quarterback draw. Touchdown. You sure you don't want to coach?
Well, I can't believe the Raiders got fooled in this situation. Think about it. Chan Gailey's the coordinator. They like to run the quarterback. What did Chan Gailey always call when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers? He really loved the quarterback draw when he was down inside, so should have been thought about.
Orlando Mare with the extra point, and it is good. 16 seconds to play in the first half, and Miami grabs a 7-6 lead.
Watch what happens there. Look, nobody in the middle. Now here comes Greg Biekert. He had gone outside. What they were going to do, they were worried about a quick pass, so they took the inside defenders and doubled receivers on the outside. Nobody can account for the quarterback.
It was so open, Tim Ruddy almost had no one to block. Ruddy backing up and then forward, and here comes Jay Fiedler with the go-ahead touchdown. Miami scoring drive, 66 yards over 3.5 minutes, capped by Jay Fiedler's 2-yard run on the quarterback draw, and Miami with a 7-6 lead in the closing seconds here of the first half. David Dunn will take it on the big hop at the 11. 25, 30, spinning across the 35, and is finally stopped at about the 38-yard line. And let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, let's just take one look at it. Here's Jay Fiedler, the quarterback, and I think he probably gets to read the defense. There's the only person that can really tackle him. That's Greg Biekert on the outside. If they would have had 2 defenders inside, I'm sure it was a double call. So he would have just went, change the play, throw a quick pass outside when nobody's in the middle, stay with the quarterback draw.
Shut out by the Oakland Raiders in that playoff game. Miami finally gets on the board against the Raiders.
What the screen?
4 seconds to play. Gannon will give it to Charlie Garner. Garner up the middle, dragged down at midfield, and that'll do it for the first half. Terrific defense. An Oakland offense that looked to be on the verge of exploding. It never happened. They registered 2 field goals, and Jay Fiedler coming to life in the second quarter has Miami on top at halftime. Let's go down to Armin.
Coach, what that kind of touchdown instead of the field goal, what kind of lift does that give you in the second half?
Well, that's huge, obviously. Anytime we come out of the thing right before the half, it should give us some momentum. We just got to, in the first half, I mean, the Raiders are doing a good job of converting those third downs. We've had a couple penalties that have kept drives along. We just got to come out the second half and execute better.
All right, Coach, thank you. Greg.
All right, Armin, thank you. Our halftime score, Miami 7 and Oakland 6. Coming up, we'll be sending you to New York for the Nextel halftime report. Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry get you caught up on all the scores, highlights, and NFL news, and a CBS News update. America fights back. It all comes your way after these messages from your local station. Greg Gumbel, our halftime score. Miami with a 7-6 lead, and this game definitely belongs by quarters. The first one was all Oakland. They controlled the football. They led 6-0, and then Miami came alive in the second quarter.
Typical NFL game, Greg. I think the Raiders go in at halftime and go, wow, we had some chances to be on the road against a really good team, to give ourselves a good lead. They didn't take advantage of it. In Miami, we've seen this from them about 20 times over the last 3 years. Just keep it close and make a play when you can.
We said that Miami had to get Jay Fiedler involved, and they did. Take a look at the numbers. And remember, at one point, Fiedler was 0 for 3 with no yardage throwing the football now, and passing yardage now. They're up to 71 on the day, but numbers are pretty even, as you would expect.
Yeah, which is surprising, but again, the Miami Dolphins taking advantage of the one time or the one chance they can get some points. They get a touchdown out of it.
The Raiders kick it away for the start of the second half, and rolling into the end zone. It won't be returned as Brock Marion covers it there, and we go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, I talked to John Gruden. He said overall he's pretty pleased with the way his team is playing. He said he'd like to get a little better field position, but he said overall it's what I expected, a tough physical football game. I asked him about the heat. I said, John, are you worried about the heat? He goes, nah, I love the heat. Well, he's not wearing a jacket down here, I'll tell you that. Back to you.
Well, you know, Armin, that's interesting, too, because we asked John Gruden about that last night, about the heat, and he goes, hey, the tougher the conditions and all that, just the more exciting and the better it is for the players. When the environment on the road, it's heat, it just makes you more competitive. That's how he looked at it.
Lamar Smith gets the first call and will lose yardage on the play. William Thomas with the stop. And there's Jerry Rice on the sideline. Has yet to make a catch.
You know, to kind of go back, though, Greg, what John Gruden said, really it is the tougher the circumstances, the more exciting it is for you when you're a visiting team like the Raiders, especially, of course, it's going to be exciting if you can somehow find a way to win the game. And I would say coming here on the road across the country, the Heat, good football team, it's pretty tough circumstances.
Trace Armstrong, the ex-Dolphin, on the field at defensive end on 2nd and 11. And losing a helmet on the carry is Lamar Smith. Oh no, make it Deion Dyer. This game is tough enough with a helmet.
He was getting after it without that helmet. You know, Deion Dyer, he's looking for playing time. You know, especially when you're playing a skilled position, running back, wide receiver, when you get on that field, you got to make it happen. So even though he lost his helmet, still going to get after somebody.
3rd and long, 5 wide receivers, the rookie Chambers, all the way down to the near side of the field. Fiedler throws over the middle. That's intercepted. Derek Gibson. And Gibson is down at the 35-yard line, and a big turnover by the Oakland Raiders.
Well, a change of pace for the Oakland Raiders. That time, 3 defensive linemen, an extra defensive back, and they have an extra defender to make the interception.
Derek Gibson, the first-round draft pick, 28th player selected overall out of Florida State.
See the 3 people rushing? You have a man in the middle looking for Jay Fiedler to run. Derek Gibson, one more man in coverage. He makes the interception.
Dedrick Ward, the intended receiver. Take one more look at it.
Oh, terrific job staying right underneath. The receiver turns, you turn. Look for the football.
Terrific opportunity for the Raiders now. And here's Wheatley, and Wheatley pulls his way down close to the 30-yard line.
Roll, roll, roll. Well, as John Gruden would say, that's my whammer. Tyrone Wheatley's supposed to, wham it up in there for me. Charlie Garner's job is to maybe make somebody miss. But he does a good job. Tyrone Wheatley, not much success with the New York Giants. Comes to the Oakland Raiders. They use him properly. They line him up deep. what you would call right behind the quarterback, an eye-back runner, and he's been very successful doing it.
You'd have to figure Rich Gannon's going to want to get Jerry Rice involved fairly soon, although Charlie Garner with the carry there down to about the 27-yard line.
You know what? I look at the Oakland Raiders, Greg. I see Charlie Garner, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Roland Williams, a tight end. We haven't heard his name. They got a lot of players. I don't think they worry about getting you involved. It's quarterback drops back, and if you're the open guy, he gives it to you. And a lot of times that's determined by the defense too, how they're going to play you. That determines how involved you are going to be in the offense.
Rice takes a breather on the sideline. Wheatley and Ritchie are on 3rd and 1. Wheatley not going to get there.
Interesting decision. He's going to kick it. I thought John Gruden might go for it because it's going to be over a 40-yard field goal, but it's a long yard to make, and that is tough to do against a good defense like Miami's.
He did think about it for a while over there before he sent them on.
Well, he walked down, and then he realized, oh, this is a lot longer than I thought. Send them in.
This will be a 45-yard attempt.
Off the dirt. Makes it more difficult.
It's going to be long enough, and it is going to be good. Janikowski converts from 45 yards out, and the Raiders reclaim the lead at 9-7. Remember the uproar last year when the Raiders made Sebastian Janikowski their first-round draft pick, used a fifth-rounder on punter Shane Leckler, and it took Janikowski a while to find himself, but he is 7 of 7 so far this season in kicking the ball with authority. Brock Marion, 5 yards deep, will bring it out. 15, 20, out to about the 22-yard line. We take this opportunity to remind you, you can follow all the games on NFL.com, and after the games, get in-depth analysis and recaps from the experts only at NFL.com. Your AOL keyword, NFL.
Janikowski had to find himself. He's about 270 pounds. It's interesting you say that he's 7 of 7. Dave Wannstedt, we were talking to him on Friday and just talking about his kicker, Olindo Mare, how good he is. Janikowski's so good. 38% of the games in the National Football League are decided by 3 points or less. So your field goal kicker is big.
Quick pass this side. James McKnight. McKnight down the sideline, gets good yardage. Marquez Pope ran him out of bounds. Eric Allen appeared to slip on the play.
Well, the Dolphins have found one pass that they know they can count on and throw whenever they want it so far, and that's the quick pass to the outside. And the big reason is this: the cushion. Eric Allen likes to play off the receiver, and the dirt got him. The dirt infield. He slipped as he was trying to come forward.
So now the ball at the 48-yard line, and Fiedler going to throw again. The other side, he's got his man, and again it's James McKnight. McKnight inside the 40 and another first down.
Now, Greg, why they're throwing this play and they keep going to it, I'll show you why they're throwing it at Eric Allen and Torrey James. Here's Rod Woodson up on his man, and look at Eric Allen. Goes off of his man as the quarterback takes a drop. He can't react quick enough to come up and stop that pass.
James McKnight spent the first 5 years of his NFL career in Seattle, the last 2 in Dallas. We asked him why he's here. He said he thought he was going to be the odd man out in Dallas, and he didn't want that. I think he's just finding himself a home here in Miami.
Got a chance to be the frontline receiver here in Miami, too.
Lamar Smith hit by Greg Beekert early on. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Greg, there's the number of catches you get as a receiver or whatever is so much, of course, by your talent, because just like a Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, there are going to be more plays designed for them to catch the football than there's going to be for the tight end Roland Williams. And the same can be said for James McKnight. He comes here, he has a chance to be the guy that they could design plays for to throw to him, because he's not fighting superstar wide receivers to get the football.
Fiedler going to throw it on 2nd and 10 under pressure, gets rid of it. Smith, left side with blocking, close to a first down. He has enough for a first down, and the Dolphins move to the Oakland 27-yard line.
Well, it's taken a long time, but we finally saw Miami's first screen pass of the day. Nice fake, but watch what Jay Fiedler does. Trying to sell it out. Takes a pretty good hit by Reagan Upshaw. But fake run left, quarterback rolls right, and they're throwing back to that side. Good pursuit by the Raiders, stops it from being a bigger play.
First down Miami at the Oakland 27. Fiedler 3 out of 3 for 49 yards on this drive. He's going to throw it again. Going deep. Has a man. Incomplete. Just missed Oronde Gadsden.
Perfect throw. As soon as he dropped back, I was about ready to yell touchdown because he went right by the defender. And look at Oronde Gadsden pointing to himself. Eric Allen's expecting another quick pass. Too late. Watch where the ball goes. Oh, right through his hands. And that could have been, what did Chan Gailey tell us? He goes, I will be shocked once we get down near the goal line if they don't double cover Oronde Gadsden. That might have been double coverage. That's why he split the two of them and was open for the touchdown.
Fiedler beginning to find his groove. The give is to Smith, and Smith slowed down and fights his way back to the 27. Marquez Pope was the first man to hit him.
Sounds like a movie. Fiedler's finding his groove. I think I watched it. Well, maybe not.
No, I don't think you did.
But the Dolphins starting to show a variety to their offense. And again, the Raiders just not as quick, not as physical against this Dolphin offense. And you really got to wonder about the Heat.
You know, you mentioned Chan Gailey when we were talking to him, and he said Oronde Gadsden makes at least one amazing play a day in practice. He made several terrific plays in the Week 1 victory over Tennessee. Fiedler up the middle. Penalty marker is down, and Fiedler is down at about the 24-23 line. Tony Bryant with the tackle.
Yeah, you know that's going to be a hold when you see that flag thrown in there. I'm going to guess Mark Dixon just because I like to watch the reaction of the offensive lineman.
Holding, 63, offense. Still third down.
63 Mark Dixon it is.
Yeah, Mark Dixon. Let's see if we can see the right side of the screen. He's on Roderick Coleman. He's got his hands inside. I can see why he's upset. Usually when you keep your hands inside the shoulders, you get away with that. You're allowed to reach inside and hold that jersey, and that's what he did, it looked like.
Now it's a 3rd and 20, and Fiedler 2 of 5 on 3rd down so far today. J.J. Johnson is in as a wide receiver. Fiedler throws this side, incomplete. Dedrick Ward was the intended receiver. Olindo Mare wants to go on and try a field goal, but instead Matt Turk is going to come on and kick it.
Well, that's why you go, well, it's 3rd and 20. Why not have thrown it down the field? If they hit that pass to Dedrick Ward for 6 or 7 yards, Olindo Mare comes in and kicks a field goal.
Mare was looking at about a 55-yard field goal from there, but Dave Wanstead opts instead for the punter.
Yeah, Dave Wanstead, Miami, they're the ultimate in field position.
Play clock down to 3, 2, 1. And it'll be a delay of game against the Dolphins.
And they're going to push them back. As I say, a lot of times.
Delay, offense. Still 4th down.
Well, the Raiders are going to decline it now. Now, of course, the closer you are, the harder it is for the punter to keep it from going in the end zone. Of course, the punter wants them to move it back 5.
So the line of scrimmage remains the 37-yard line.
You know why he wants them to move it back 5, don't you? This is killing his average. He just kills it. Punting from the 37.
Line of scrimmage is the 37. Let's see.
Beautiful.
Puts it up. And it's going to go into the end zone. And tapped back out. No, it's a touchback.
It's got to be a touchback. They were in the end zone when they
and then
tapped it.
jump. So it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Terry Cousin and Scott McGarrahan, and now we have a marker down. And it's going to be against the Dolphins.
You got to decline this. The Raiders are going to go out and take the penalty. Why would you want the penalty? You decline it and take it at the 20.
John Gruden is saying we turn it down.
Boy, he is upset, and I don't blame him. Come on. You drive him back 10 yards, he'll punt it inside your 10-yard line.
Holding, 89 offense is declined. The option was not given to Oakland of the touchback. First down, Oakland at the 20.
When all is said and done, the Raiders will take over at their own 20-yard line when we come back to Pro Player Stadium after this.
Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by BF Goodrich Tires. Take control.
Here's Jerry Rice, who, with 6:40 to play here in the third quarter, is yet to make a reception. In fact, Oakland wide receivers only have 2 catches today. Gannon over the middle, incomplete, intended for Jerry Rice, broken up by Brock Marion.
Well, Greg, why is Jerry Rice not caught a pass? Well, the first thing is he's going to get some really good secondary people. Patrick Surtain on the outside. Brock Marion comes in and gets in front of this and knocks it away. Gets his hand on the football. And he's not the primary receiver here like he was in years past or at San Francisco. Oakland spreads it around, not afraid to throw to their backs.
Gannon over the middle, incomplete off the hands of Brown. It'll be 3rd and 10. This is what's happened so far today. 2 catches by wide receivers, 7 by the running backs. In week 1, wide receivers caught 17 of the 31 completions that Gannon had.
And the Raiders have not found that rhythm that they lost in the first half.
5 plays, 8 yards total for the Raiders this half. 3rd and 10. Gannon. And now the whistle blows. And we have a penalty marker on the far side. This play was blown dead before it got underway.
False start, number 72, offense.
That's Lincoln Kennedy. There was so much noise, we never heard the whistle.
Did not hear it, couldn't even see the official trying to stop the play. 3rd and 10 is really hard to pick up in the National Football League. 3rd and 15 is almost impossible.
The Dolphin defense is in a happy mood. They have the crowd involved.
Only 3 rushers, 2 rushers.
3rd and 15, the pass on the outside is complete to Brown, and Brown is going to get back to the 20, and that's about it.
Rushing the quarterback with 2 defensive linemen. Jason Taylor drops back. No chance of picking up 15 yards against that pass defense.
Jeff Ogden is deep. Oh, what a kick from Leckler. At the 24. And across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Miami Dolphins fans exhorting their defense to come through, and they did on that last series. 5:43 to play in the 3rd.
Between wearing a white uniform and a black uniform. Just a few moments ago, I took these 2 thermometers that we placed inside the Dolphin uniform and the Raider uniform. The Dolphin uniform registering about 115, the Raider uniform registering a little over 120. That's 5 degrees difference. They've been there all day, Greg, and that's a lot over 60 minutes. Back to you.
Oh, you bet, Armin. Thank you. 9-7 Oakland. Fiedler from the shotgun has time over the middle, has his man complete inside the 45, and that's Oronde Gadsden. That's a first down.
Well, you know, if you watch football games in the National Football League, when a quarterback gets a second look at a defense, it's almost guaranteed that he's going to find the open receiver down the field and make a good throw. The extra time afforded to Jay Fiedler, he finds Gaston in the middle, wide open, hits him right in stride.
Terrific field position for the Dolphins now. First down at the Oakland 43. Smith looking for running room and can't find much.
You know, I want to go back to what Armin Catania was saying, didn't have a chance. I could always tell the difference between 115 and 120. You know, just hot is hot.
Well, 115 and 120 for you, that would be either a third or a fourth layer of the lotion.
Oh, boy. It is hot down there. Hey, it's actually, I think, cooled off as the day has gone along. You get a little breeze and the humidity is dying out a little, so of course I'm in a booth with a fan on me.
Smith again, and Smith inside the 40 to about the 36-yard line. Grady Jackson and Trace Armstrong with the stop. Boy, Grady Jackson, there is a mountain of a man. Officially, he's listed at 6'2", 325, but you talk to him up close, and not only that, but he regaled us in his basketball tales. He insists.
Look at this. He's still, now we've talked to him over the years. He is a tremendous athlete, and he insisted to us yesterday, hey, I can still slam that basketball.
He says he can dunk. I said, 2 hands? He said, yes. I said, over your head? He said, probably. Fiedler just gets the snap off in time. The pass to the far side is complete, and McKnight inside the 30. That's another first down. One of the guys Chan Gailey was talking to us about was James McKnight, and he said during the offseason the objective was not just to get some outside help, but guys who can do something with the football once they have it.
Well, that's what you want to do, Greg. That's what every team is looking for, and that's the difference a lot of times in an explosive offense against just a routine offense in the National Football League. The explosive one, the guys are good enough to catch a short pass and run for touchdowns and big gains. The teams that struggle, they catch it and they get tackled immediately.
Under 3 minutes to play in the third. Smith picking his way through the line inside the 20 to the 17 or 18-yard line. Marquez Pope with the stop. But now the guys up front on the offensive line for the Miami Dolphins doing some good work.
Well, they are. They've been doing good work, really, Greg, all day long in the running game, being physical and staying on their blocks. Beekert misses the tackle, and then look at all the defenders on the ground. That's Mark Dixon on Trace Armstrong.
The give is to Smith, and Smith to the left side and bulls his way for a first down. Talk about that left side for a little bit. Left tackle is Spencer Falau. And Falau, you know, left tackle was a concern for these Miami Dolphins. They lost Richmond Webb, who went to Cincinnati. Then Brent Smith went down with a knee injury. Last week, Marcus Spriggs torn ACL, and he's gone for the season. And here is Spencer Falau cast in a big role at left tackle.
And doing a good job. We haven't pointed him out today, and unfortunately for offensive linemen, we point him out with penalties and when they're getting beat for a sack, things like that, and we have not called his name out in that vein so far.
95 yards this quarter. Here is J.J. Johnson up the middle to about the 10. And Grady Jackson makes that tackle. A pickup of 5 makes it 2nd and 5.
Let me just show you what this fake reverse does. Watch the defender right here. The Dolphins are going to fake the reverse around. Josh Taves. He's got the tackle, but he has to hesitate because he's not sure they're not going to give it on the reverse. That allows the runner to go up inside and get 5 yards instead of being tackled for a 1-yard gain. Always in the NFL or in any league, deception, or when you try to fool the defenders, it makes them hesitate just for a second.
Straight ahead, Smith. And Smith is corralled at about the 8 or the 9 by Rod Coleman and friends. And the clock continues to move, coming up on 40 seconds to play here in the third.
Now Lamar Smith, he is a good fit for Dave Wannstedt and this offense and Chan Gailey. And when you talk to them, you know their personalities. They want a hard, tough inside runner, a guy that's going to run between the tackles and get those yards that we don't sit and go, oh wow, isn't he special? It goes unnoticed sometimes until the game is over and you go, wow, Lamar Smith got 88 yards. And
this has been a 5-minute plus drive for the Miami Dolphins. 3rd and 5. Fiedler throws for the end zone. It is incomplete. Gadsden, the intended receiver, and Charles Woodson doing battle with him.
Oh, he had what he wanted. Oronde Gadsden is terrific going up. Woodson doesn't see it. He's trying to throw it behind him. Gadsden able to go up. He just throws it too high.
So now Olindo Mare will line this one up from 27 yards out in an attempt to give the Dolphins a 1-point lead. And he does. 2 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Jay Fiedler and the Miami Dolphins with a 1-point lead. Dolphins have come back to take a 10-9 lead, and they have certainly found their way since the first quarter, in which they found themselves trailing 6-0. 193 yards since the end of that first quarter. Mare's kick bounces once. Dunn picks it off. 25. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line. And that is the end of the third quarter with our score. The Miami Dolphins 10, the Oakland Raiders 9. We'll come back after this message and you realize the clamps that the Miami defense has put on the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders have just 1 first down in their last 4 drives. Wheatley bumps off the tackler. Falls forward for little or no gain. Here's NFL.com interactive poll for today. With 1 week under their belts, who looks like the early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year? Log on and cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, the Raiders, the hardest thing to do, Tyrone Wheatley walking off, took a hard hit that time. If they could just get 1 first down, it'll probably lead to 3 or 4.
Gannon to throw. On the screen, Garner. Garner turns the corner and out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Derek Rogers ran him out, and we go back to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Greg and Phil, here's an interesting way to get it in from a yard out. The Bengals, they fake inside to Dillon, fake the reverse, then toss it to Corey Dillon to take the lead over the Super Bowl champs in the third quarter. 7-3 Cincinnati. Back to Greg and Phil.
And they are alive and kicking in Bengal land.
Bengals are not the easy mark they used to be so far. They've got a terrific running back, and their defense seems to be playing so much better.
5 wide receivers for Gannon. 3rd and 3. Quick pass over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for number 84, Jerry Porter, and Arturo Freeman got a hand in there.
Arturo Freeman and Terry Cousin both playing so well as the 3rd, 4th defensive back. They're keeping the number 1 draft pick for the Miami Dolphins, a cornerback, Jamar Fletcher, off the field in those situations.
Leckler to kick, Ogden to receive. And again, the Raiders without a first down on the drive. Fair catch called for and made at the 12-yard line. 13:37 to play in the fourth. Miami with the ball in a 1-point lead. Yards and an interception. Contrast that with the victory over Tennessee. He was 12 of 20 for 225 and 2 touchdowns. You throw it here. Pump fake, pulls it down, throws, incomplete. Oronde Gadsden appeared, looked like the ball surprised him a little bit.
The pass rush threw the timing off. And Jay Fiedler, I think, took a big chance by reloading. Watch him as he pump fakes out to his left. Gonna pump fake. Then he gets pushed. Roderick Coleman pushing his man back in there. Torrey James, Gadsden, stop and go. Then he throws it to the inside, and that had trouble written all over it.
5 wide receivers on 2nd down. Quarterback draw up the middle. 15 and out to the 19-yard line. Beekert, and again, Fiedler showing a little bit of reluctance as far as sliding down. We marveled over and over at the hit that he took from Javon Curse back in week 1.
It was big, but look, nobody inside. Everybody worried about the defender or the pass receivers out. When there's nobody in there to account for the quarterback, the Miami Dolphins are going to run the quarterback draw. If they're inside, then he calls a number and they throw the pass play.
J.J. Johnson on the field on 3rd and 3. Fiedler, quick pass, intercepted. Anthony Dorsett for a touchdown.
John Gruden wants to go for 2. The number one thing, any quarterback at any level, when you're throwing the football, the most important thing is to see in front of the receiver. That time, Jay Fiedler did not see Anthony Dorsett, who's coming from inside, running towards the receiver, makes a tremendous jump on the ball, gets the interception for the touchdown.
26 yards on the return.
That was the first time all day I've seen the Raider defense send an extra defender at the quarterback. And Jay Fiedler had to see that. Probably thought he was going to have the wide open receiver underneath. Did not happen.
And now they go for 2. Gannon, the pitch for Wheatley. Left side, and he's not going to get there. Run out of bounds by Derek Rogers and Brock Marion. So for the time being, it will remain a 5-point game. 12:41 to play. Miami falls behind. Anthony Dorsett returning 26 yards for the touchdown.
Step in front and make the interception.
First ever touchdown for Anthony Dorsett. On the kick, takes a bounce, rolling, and now into the end zone and bringing it back out. And down, loose football has fallen on, and now it's loose again. Inside the 5, the Raiders say they have it. But instead, it's Miami. Scott McGarrahan came up, but what a comedy of errors inside the 5-yard line.
Yes. Brock Marion made a mistake. He could have stayed in the end zone. I know there was a little indecision. If he'd have waited, it was there. He stepped in. He could have stood in there and taken the touchback. That is big. Your offense, it's lost some of its confidence, the momentum, and now you got to start from the 1-yard line. Very tough situation.
And a huge boost for this Oakland Raider defense. 12:26 to play in the 4th. From the 1. Dolphins will keep it on the ground, and Lamar Smith right side, running room, 10, 15, out of bounds at about the 17 or 18-yard line. That is a big play for the offense.
That was a big play and a big run to the right side. Oh, in the end zone, it could have been a safety. But Lamar Smith dodges the tackler. Marquez Pope was up inside, unblocked, gets faked out, and Lamar Smith picks up a first down.
Fiedler and the Miami offense with breathing room now at the 18-yard line. Fiedler to throw. This side all alone, incomplete. James McKnight had it and dropped it.
There is no doubt he was thinking of running before he caught the football. Nice play by the Dolphins. Fake. Usually when a quarterback rolls to the right, he's looking for receivers on the right. Jay Fiedler hangs in. Grady Jackson hits him. And the eyes leave the football a fraction too quick.
McKnight has stitches in his right hand. Tore the webbing between his second and third fingers, but that didn't cause that drop. On the draw, and Smith is held up by Greg Biekert close to the line of scrimmage. You can help America fight back by supporting the disaster relief effort and helping the families of the victims. Give to the September 11th Fund. Call 1-800-710-8002.
Big third down for the Dolphins here. If you don't get it, the Raiders are going to have terrific field position. And then you're looking at, if they can move the football, kick a field goal, anything, it's 8 points down. It really puts a lot of pressure on your football team.
Play clock down to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. He got it off. The draw. J.J. Johnson. Or direct snap to J.J. Johnson.
I tell you what, that was good because I was looking at Jay Fiedler. Our cameramen were not faked out, but we were. I shouldn't have been faked out. I watched them do this in practice 3 times on Friday. Anytime you see the running back get a little too close to the quarterback as a defender, oh, that's a big red light. Look out. And the Raiders are ready for it. William Thomas on the tackle.
Needed 11 yards. He got 9, and Nat Turk has come on to kick. That's David Dunn deep. Oh, nice kick by Turk. Dunn from the 22. To the 40. Out of bounds, close to the 45-yard line, and a good return and a terrific block on the far side of the field by the Oakland Raiders. 10:04 to play in the fourth. Today's game, Jerry Rice has at least 1 reception in 226 straight games. None so far today. The holder of 14 NFL records. Gannon throws midfield. Jerry Rice. And so much for that.
Well, it's almost like they wanted to get in this reception. I don't think the Raiders are thinking about it. But Jerry Rice, when you're on the inside, it's so much easier because you're working against the linebacker instead of one of those corners, you know, Patrick Surtain or Sam Madison.
227 consecutive games with at least 1 catch. 2nd and 3, Wheatley. Maybe a yard.
Well, as you look at those, look at the Raiders, the offensive linemen, their uniforms. They've changed colors. They've sweated so much. Lincoln Kennedy, look at 72. He's putting in a day's work. He has been pulling. He's been blocking very well, and I don't care what kind of shape you're in.
On 3rd and 2, Raiders still do not have a first down this entire half. Gannon throws incomplete. Number 86, the tight end, Roland Williams, separated from the football by Patrick Surtain.
Well, that's Rich Gannon just tries to pick up the first down, but the corner is right there. Surtain waiting for him to come out, lets his defender or an offensive guy go deep, turns and runs towards the football, makes a good hit.
So the Raiders still without a first down converted this half, but they lead 15-10. Ogden stands back at his own 10-yard line. He'll return this one from the 12. Brought down at about the 25-yard line. 8:35 to play in the fourth. It's Oakland by 5. The American flag on the helmets of all players in the National Football League for the rest of the season. And quite honestly, Phil, I don't see a reason why they should ever be removed. First down, Miami from their own 25. Miami trails by 5. Fiedler. On the run, and will get out of bounds at about the 28-yard line, run out by Tony Bryant. It has been A hard day in the sun for the Miami quarterback. He started getting hit early on. And again. And yet again. And we made mention of the fact that Jay Fiedler is healthy for a change this year.
Well, that's right. He played so much of last year. Beat up, injured, torn rotator cuff and on his left shoulder. And tell you what, even though he had a terrific week last week, he took some tremendous hits.
On 2nd and 7, Smith. And that Raider defense answers the call. Now, here's the question. How long does this Raider defense hold up here in the 4th quarter? They have been on the field. The longest drive by the Raider offense this half has been 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Well, they've spent the majority of this half on the field.
You know what, Greg? They're getting to the part of the game now where I don't know if it plays an effect anymore because you can smell it. It's the end of the game. Victory on the road against the Dolphins. First 2 games of the year, you go on the road for the Raiders. Kansas City, Miami. That's big stuff, and they've got some, some momentum, and they are playing spirited defense.
The rookie Travis Minor is in the backfield for Miami. Fiedler throws down the middle, tipped in the air, incomplete, almost intercepted. Torrey James, who in the postseason last January intercepted Fiedler and returned 90 yards for a touchdown, almost had a handle on this one.
Only 3 rushers. Look at all the defenders. Nice touch over the top to the smallest receiver, Dedrick Ward, not able to go up and get it. If that would have been a Rondé Gatson on the inside, he probably could have went up and made that catch.
Matt Turk, who has boomed a couple of punts today. Not this one. Penalty markers are down at the line of scrimmage. This one rolls out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
It was a takedown.
Penalty flags on the play.
Ed Perry was the personal protector for Matt Turk. And I'm sure the Raiders will want this re-kicked.
Here's Johnny Greer.
Holding number 89 of the kicking team with a takedown.
With the takedown.
Yeah, that explained it pretty well. Sometimes in these positions for the offensive guys like Ed Perry, it's almost misleading when you look at it. The defenders run into him and it makes it look like the offensive player is pulling them down. It's really the defender pulling them down because they don't want them to run down and make a tackle on after the punt is in the air.
So Turk will try it again. This one is higher. Done, fair catch at the 42-yard line. The Raiders gain about 5 yards on the difference of the 2 punts. 6:52 to play in the 4th. Mind you can get free fantasy football advice, including updated injury reports and depth charts at cbs.sportsline.com or your AOL keyword, CBS Sportsline. 6:52 to play in the 4th quarter. The Raiders, first down from their own 43. Charlie Garner on the draw and a penalty marker down on the far side of the field. Jason Taylor made the stop.
Offsides, Oakland.
Had to have lined up offsides.
Of course.
Yeah. I just wanted to show you that the heat isn't wearing me down.
Yeah.
Offside, number 80, offense, lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. 2nd down.
That's Jerry Rice.
Now, almost every time the wide receivers, they always go out. You see them. They line up. They look at the official. And okay. So apparently either Jerry didn't do that or if he did, the official said, no, you're not.
2nd and 8. Gannon, all kinds of time. Now under pressure and on the run. Turns it upfield. Midfield, out of bounds in Miami territory.
Lincoln Kennedy, number 72. Yes, Rich Gannon can scramble, gets out of the pocket, picks up yards, but Lincoln Kennedy, number 72, just kept working and pushed Jermaine Haley, number 94, out of the way at the last second to let Gannon get outside and pick up a first down. Watch what happens. Let's focus in on number 72.
Well, he pushed one guy out of the way.
And then look, he's going to run. He did stays with him and just keeps pushing, knocks him into the other guy there, and lets him get a first down.
Oakland with his first down of the half, and there is another penalty marker as Charlie Garner flies forward inside the 45 to the 42. And this one's against the Raiders.
Holding, 79, offense. Still first down.
That's Big Mo Collins, the right guard.
Mo Collins and Lincoln Kennedy side by side have to be the two biggest human beings in the National Football League.
And you know, as long as we're talking big, we stood there at practice on Friday and marveled at the size of Daryl Gardner's arms.
He is an interior defensive lineman, Daryl Gardner, who's in great shape. Looks like he could be a linebacker. He runs so well.
Gannon throws complete. And out of bounds at the 40 is Randy Jordan, the 8th-year back out of North Carolina.
Another reception by a running back, but this is where your matchups are. The Raiders have an advantage with their running backs against the Miami Dolphin linebackers, and you've seen it today. When these running backs catch the football, they catch it with ease, and they get up the field to get those important yards.
There's Daryl Gardner and those arms, and believe us when we tell you they're bigger than what they look like. On third down, Wheatley straight ahead and is very close to a first down. Clock continues to move, under 4.5 minutes to play, and we're going to get a measurement. And we have a Miami Dolphin down on the field, and that's number 97, Ernest Grant. Ernest Grant was flat on his back. He is the second-year man out of Arkansas Pine Bluff and has a crowd around him right now. Barrett Robbins, number 63, has gotten off the ground and goes over to the sideline for the Oakland Raiders, and there is Grant, looks to be favoring his right leg or right foot. Adam True will come on at center for Oakland. Meanwhile, we'll get the measurement.
It's a big measurement. I'm trying to decide, well, John Gruden, well, we don't have to decide. What would he do in a fourth down situation there? Would you punt, make Miami go a long ways, or would you go for it? But we won't have to know now.
Now Barrett Robbins has come back onto the field and wants to know if he can come back, and having a discussion with the officials.
I don't think he can. Play was stopped because he was on the field and he's going to walk off. He has to sit out at least one play.
So for at least this one play, Gannon will take a snap from a backup center. First down at the 35. Garner flanked as a wide receiver to the top of your screen. Wheatley, not much there up the middle. We'll call it a gain of 1, 2nd and 9, and back onto the field comes Robbins, the big center, 6'3", 320 pounds, out of Texas Christian.
Yeah, he's the leader of this offensive line. I know Barrett Robbins has said, he goes, I'm important. I helped the quarterback read the coverages, and I started laughing once. He told me that. He goes, no, I warn Rich where the safeties are when they walk up. And I want to say, hey, Barrett, trust me, he knows where they're at. He doesn't need your help for those things.
Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. Gannon throws down the middle, incomplete, and turning the other way was Jerry Rice.
There was nowhere to go. Jerry Rice was covered by Sam Madison.
A little pushing and shoving here. And Barrett Robbins is back on the ground again.
Well, first, let's look at the wide receiver, Jerry Rice. Sam Madison's on him down the field. He is covered, and I'll tell you what, the Miami defensive backs have won the battle against the wide receiver. And this time, Barrett Robbins is hurt.
That looks like a combination of pain and frustration.
Well, you know, sometimes, Greg, you walk off the field and you think, okay, I walked off, it feels okay. And then you go through 100% something that's real physical. In other words, it's live and he moves, and all of a sudden when you walk, what feels okay is not so good when you start doing physical contact. Let's look at Barrett Robbins. Here he is, 63, the center. Fires out. And his leg just gave out.
Yeah, he wasn't hit. Meanwhile, we keep tracking that Oakland wide receiver situation. The wideouts have made just 4 catches for 27 yards today. Still, Oakland on top by 5 on the scoreboard, under 3.5 to play. Greg Biekert with Barrett Robbins on the sideline. Five wide receivers on 3rd down. They need the 25-yard line for a first down. And timeout is called by the Raiders. That's their first, and we'll take this opportunity to remind you. The Subway postgame show comes your way. Jim Nantz and company have all the scores and highlights and the latest NFL news. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Well, you know, I've noticed, Greg, here, and the game has kind of changed. I'm not going to say it's gotten sloppy, but it's gotten sloppy. That's the only way I can explain it. You know, players getting tired, the chances of them getting hurt, of course, it goes up a little. More penalties because now you can't get in the positions you were earlier in the game, so you reach out, grab somebody, do something you're not supposed to do to try to finish off your job, and it's getting tough.
Well, I don't think you can say enough about both defenses today who have played outstanding when they've had to at various times on the field in various locations.
Yeah, I would say what stands out to me in the game so far, when you talk about players, the defensive backs for both teams have performed extremely well.
3rd and 9. The Raiders 0 for their last 6 third down attempts. Shovel pass. That's incomplete. If it fell, it is incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. Charlie Garner, the intended recipient of that shovel pass.
Yeah, just too quick. It was just too quick by Rich Gannon. It was there. I don't know if he'd have picked up a first down, but he might have picked up enough where the Oakland Raiders would have kicked a field goal instead of trying to punt it.
And rather than go for about a 52 or 53-yard field goal, Leckler will kick it for Gruden and the Raiders. Aims for the corner. Bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So Miami will take over the 20. We'll remind you next Sunday the NFL on CBS runs out doubleheader action. First, Jay Fiedler leads these Dolphins against Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. The Chiefs take on the Redskins. In the late game, AFC super teams collide. Ray Lewis and the Super Bowl champion Ravens visit Brian Griese and the Denver Broncos. We ask you to check your local listings for these and other games, beginning with the NFL today.
And there they are.
First down, Miami at their own 20. And Barrett Robbins, the good news for his teammates, he's up and walking. 3:11 to play. 5 wide receivers. Miami with all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Fiedler over the middle. That's complete. Incomplete now. Dropped it. James McKnight has had an awfully tough day with some catchable balls.
Jay Fiedler looked left. The coverage was tight. Goes back over the middle to the short receiver. And James McKnight again looking up just a little too quick. Looks like he almost has it there, but the ball does come out.
2nd and 10. Fiedler on the run. Slides down at the 25-yard line. Let's go down to Armin Kataim.
Now Jay Fiedler's hurt.
Fiedler, a couple of teammates wanted him to leave the field, and he said no.
Yeah, I think he, for a second there was a little dazed, and his teammates saw it.
Now we get a whistle and a timeout called by the Miami Dolphins. Let's go back to the play.
Let's watch Jay Fiedler trying to get that extra half yard, because that's just can't get. Oh, does he take a big hit from William Thomas? And when I ask him this question, and in almost a similar situation, let's look at last week when they're playing the Tennessee Titans. Scrambles up the field. It's time to get down. Watch. Boom. Oh, that doesn't even do it justice. Javon Curse coming full speed, hits him from the side. And I asked him this, Greg. You talked about it earlier in the telecast. And I said, are you going to start getting down? Well, and he said, well, I am and what I am. And if I have to get to the extra yard, I said, there's a time to go for the extra yard. When you're going for the touchdown and when the game is absolutely on the line. That situation there, that half a yard was not worth the chance that he could have got hit and been out for the season. That would have hurt his football team. His responsibility is to stay healthy, stay in there and help him win.
3rd and 4. Fiedler throws, that bounces incomplete, intended for Chris Chambers. And on comes the punting unit with 2:32 to play. Fiedler now 0 for his last 7 pass attempts. He's had a couple of them dropped on him.
Well, the fans here are booing. They want him to go for it, I think. 2:32, you get the 2-minute warning to stop the clock and 2 timeouts. So it comes down to, can you stop the Oakland Raiders from getting 1 first down?
The Miami defense has done that this half.
I would have gone for it because you need a touchdown, not a field goal.
This punt bounces at the 40 and is down at about the 32-yard line. We remind you, tonight is Premiere Sunday on CBS. It begins with 60 Minutes, followed by the premiere of The Education of Max Bickford, starring Academy Award winners Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Gay Harden. And then Sidney Poitier stars in the CBS Sunday movie The Last Brickmaker in America, a night of premieres tonight on CBS.
See, Greg, I would have gone for it because you need a touchdown to win the game, not a field goal. So even if you stop them here in 3 plays, you're going to use up your timeouts. It's going to be inside 2 minutes. They're going to kick you back. It makes it awful tough. You can't. Then they're going to protect the sidelines, too, the Oakland Raiders. So very tough situation for Miami now.
Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield. And Wheatley is met head on, bounces off a tackler. Zach Thomas was the man who hit him, and the Dolphins use their 2nd timeout. Pick up 2 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 8 when we resume. 2:12 is on the clock.
Of course, the thing you got to be alert for if you're the Miami Dolphins is a mobile quarterback. You know they're going to run the football here most likely. Him faking it, rolling out, trying to run it, or throw a really short pass to pick up a first down that way.
Dolphins are very, very tough opening here at home. Not since 1993 have they lost a home open. The Raiders come in here. That's a different story. Miami hasn't registered a victory here in Miami against the Raiders since '94. Opening, what a huge jump that would be for the Oakland Raiders to open 2-0 on the road. Garner and Ritchie in the backfield. Garner straight ahead to about the 37, and they call timeout and stop the clock with 2:06. That is the last Miami timeout, and they will get another stoppage at the 2-minute warning. And they are looking at a 3rd and 4. As you look at Dave Wannstedt, this has been a tough football game all the way around.
The time off, the players not in game shape like they usually would be during a season, whether you play every single Sunday, the heat, the competition, you know, the emotional drain that everybody's had on them because of what happened September 11th. I think it's really shown on both teams, especially here in the fourth quarter. They're just not the same players they were to start the game out, of course.
Trace Armstrong, the former Miami Dolphin. And there's Barrett Robbins being taken off to the locker room.
You know, I don't have the answer. I just wonder, are the Raiders going to try to run it, or will they try to win the game with the pass to pick up the first down?
They need to reach the 43-yard line. Gannon throws behind Garner, his intended receiver, and the pass is incomplete. The way that was tipped could have been dangerous.
Well, I tell you what it was. It's a quarterback knowing the situation. He just can't let it go. He can't. In other words, he's holding back just a little because he doesn't want something to go wrong. Throws it behind Charlie Garner and Zach Thomas right there. And also to the short side of the field. Very tough to run that play on that side.
After this kick, we will get the 2-minute warning. Oh, what a kick from Leckler. Ogden will let this one bounce inside the 5, and it'll go into the end zone for the touchback. And now it's being run out by the Miami Dolphins. And tackled at the 3-yard line is Sam Madison. Well, whether Sam saw something that wasn't there or felt he could take someone by surprise, the line of scrimmage is going to be the 4. And no, now it's a touchback.
And as the ball is touched by the Oakland Raiders and goes into the end zone, he knows the rules. He gets a free play almost. He's running the football from the end zone. He gets tackled. It comes to the 20 if he's short of the 20, but
in the end zone. Miami then recovered the ball in the end zone and ran it out. By rule, Miami has the option of taking a touchback. First down at the 20.
That's right. That's knowing the rules. But where that rule would stop if Sam Madison comes out and one of his guys, he fumbles, one of his players has a penalty on the return, then you go to the result. So it's a smart play, but also I think it's a very dangerous play.
The only thing that really hurts Miami there is it cost them an extra 10 seconds or so off the clock. 1:41 to play, and they are out of timeouts. Fiedler from the shotgun. Throw. That's complete. Dedrick Ward, and Ward is out of bounds at the 40.
Now the difference is the Raiders throwing that incomplete pass gave Miami quite a few extra seconds here to work with. So it really changes the complexion. And that was what of course, the Raiders were thinking about that when they tried to pick up that first down on 3rd down with the pass.
Ward's first catch of the day. It was good for 20 yards. Fiedler with time, throws. Travis Minor looking for first down yardage, comes up a little short, but goes out of bounds. Pick up about 8 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 2. 1:27 on the clock.
Well, there's Travis Minor. We expected to see him run the football some today, but in this situation where they know the Raiders probably won't blitz, they're going to play safe on defense, they can put him in because they're not worried about him picking up a blitzer.
Midfield is a first down for the Dolphins.
Only 3 rushers.
Fiedler has time, throws, that's complete to about the 25-yard lines. Chris Chambers and out of bounds.
That's the gamble you take by rushing only 3 people at the quarterback. It enables him to get extra time. He moves, and what a really good throw by Jay Fiedler down the sideline. And Chambers coming back, makes the catch and gets out of bounds. Now time is not even a problem for the Miami Dolphins.
First down at the 25-yard line. 1:20 to play. Fiedler throws far side, complete and out of bounds inside the 20 to Oronde Gadsden. 6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4, and Fiedler and the Miami offense are just eating up yardage.
Boy, what a comeback. After the last series, as bad as it went for the Miami Dolphins, to come out in a situation like this, they make the first play, got it going, and now the Raiders, they got to decide, do we go after the quarterback or we keep trying to cover?
You could read John Gruden's lips there, telling his defense, make a play.
4 rushers now.
The quick snap to the back, and that's Minor. The 3rd-round pick out of Florida State.
And that was a good defense. Again, Travis Minor got so close to Jay Fiedler, you had to think it was going to be snapped to him.
3rd and 3. Fiedler going for the end zone. Gadsden is there. Jump ball incomplete. Anthony Dorsett and Eric Allen closed on the big wide receiver.
Wow, that is the ultimate. Just Jay Fiedler. Look at this. 2 defenders, no way. And Gadsden is the only one that goes up and really gets his hands on the football. But that's having faith in a wide receiver to take that chance.
And we have a timeout called by the Oakland Raiders with 51 seconds to play, and the Raiders are down to 1 timeout. We remind you, coming up on the Subway post-game show, Jim Nantz and company have scores, highlights, and latest NFL news. The Subway post-game show.
Well, if I was the Oakland Raiders, I would absolutely keep 4 big guys in there to rush the quarterback, and I would keep a middle linebacker in the middle to watch for the quarterback running the football. Make them throw it again in tight coverage outside to pick up the first down.
Boy, John Gruden is going to have a short lifespan as a head coach. He has played so many tense games. The week 1 victory over Kansas City was a last-minute down the stretch victory. Here, his defense looks at 4th and 3. The Dolphins need to reach the 15-yard line for a first down. They are out of timeouts. Fiedler reloads, rolls, throws, complete to the 10-yard line. Dedrick Ward made the catch.
Boy, that was some play by Jay Fiedler. If he would have thrown with his first thought it would have been intercepted. He bought time by moving and makes a nice throw.
1st and goal. Fiedler, quarterback draw to the 5, to the 2. Wants to get up now and spike the football. Clock moving, coming up on 15 seconds. And he does, to kill the clock with 12 seconds to play. What a finish.
It is. What a gamble. The quarterback draw, and Jay Fiedler runs for some tough yards up inside. Oh, nice block. Mark Dixon gets Roderick Coleman out of there, and Fiedler goes in there and picks up those extra yards.
So the Dolphins are at the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal. 12 seconds to play. No timeouts. Fiedler rolls, looks, pulls it down, goes for the end zone, touchdown! 2 rushing touchdowns on the day by Jay Fiedler. This second coming with 5 seconds on the clock. He takes the Dolphins 80 yards in 1:36.
That's not even fucking close.
And we are going to have a replay official take a look.
Well, let's take a look. It never entered my mind that he did not make it, but the play action fake, nice call. Gets him out of the corner. Oh, it's not even close is right. Well, let's see. Knee.
And where's the ball when the knee hit?
It's a lot closer than we thought when
Yes,
you really
it
narrow
is.
it down that way. But the ball, Greg, it's over there, the white line. There is no question. Part of that football is on the end zone. And that replay is controlled upstairs, not by the coaches. This will be a definitive shot. When does his knee hit? There, over, touchdown.
Like so many Americans, Jay Fiedler lost someone he knew in the events of last week.
We have a touchdown.
It is ruled a touchdown.
I'm just going to go back to this. If the Raiders don't throw it on 3rd down, that drive would have been so much harder for the Miami Dolphins because they would have had about 30 less seconds to work with.
Fiedler on the end around. And McKnight gets the end zone. So McKnight's conversion makes it 18-15 Miami.
Shane Galen, the offensive coordinator, says the best thing Jay Fiedler does is throw on the run. That's why they run so many plays with him getting out of the pocket. It enables him to throw on the run. When it's not there, he can run forward, and here's the 2-point conversion.
James McKnight making his way into the end zone to make it a 3-point game. We welcome those of you who watch Tennessee and Jacksonville. The Jaguars knocking off the Titans 13-6. Tennessee opens the season 0-2. Just moments ago, Jay Fiedler with the Miami Dolphins out of timeouts from the 2-yard line, scrambling, diving, and scoring the touchdown that put Miami ahead 16-15, and then the 2-point conversion. Here is the kick. David Dunn looking for room, is going to run out of it on the far side, and the Dolphins have won it. The Dolphins knock off the Raiders here in Miami for the first time since an overtime victory back in 1994. Dave Wannstedt and the Dolphins go to 2-0. The Raiders fall to 1-1.